God calls everyone to a vocation. It might be married life, single life, a religious life, or in, hopefully in my case, the priesthood. How is it different from a career? It's for the rest of your life. It's a life of service. It's a life of service out of love to our Lord and also to the church, which is the people of God. And that's really exciting. When I first heard the calling, I've actually heard God calling a couple of other times in my life previous, and I can actually I specifically remember thinking, I hope I'm not called to priesthood. And this is actually when I'm probably about 20, 21, maybe 25 as well. And about a year ago, I was at Mass and the priest challenged the congregation, challenged them in asking, have you asked anyone to be a priest? And I thought the priest was talking to me instead of challenging the congregation. And I thought, for the first time in my life, I actually considered it as a mature adult, considered, is that my vocation, my calling? And I went back to Mass next weekend and I heard it again in a slightly different way. The priest mentioned priesthood and I thought, that's a bit weird. What's he saying there? And I really considered it that time. And I talked to someone at Mass, after Mass, and I got back to my motorbike. And there was a flyer for discerning the priesthood sitting there, and I thought, hang on, God, what are you doing? And it was one of the youth workers who put it on my bike. She'd heard me. And it was sort of after that second and third time that I thought, I'm really going to give this serious and mature thought, and give it serious prayer, and actually go and seek out some help in discerning this calling. Initially, the first thing that attracted me to the priesthood was the opportunity to stand behind the pulpit and preach to the crowds. As I discerned more and more, I realised that what I'm interested in doesn't really what matter. It's what God's got planned for me. The idea of helping people in their spiritual life is really important to me now. Knowing that I can make a difference in other people's life and also serve God by carrying out His work on earth, that's the really exciting thing. I've got this cozy little picture in my head at the moment of me being a parish priest in some little country town, and I've got the whole town comes to Mass on Sunday morning to worship, and I'm their shepherd, helping them along their way in their Christ journey. What a fuzzy little picture. I'm a red-blooded man, definitely a red-blooded man, and I'd be lying to myself if I said I wasn't attracted to women. However, I know that by me answering God's call, I'll achieve ultimate fulfillment, happiness and love in my life. My friends think I'm a fitness freak. My family think I'm dedicated to whatever I do, and I think that's a fair reflection. The ladies of Brisbane think he'd make a good husband. Society probably thinks I'm a little weird. I mean, you got this guy was in the army for 8 years, been to Afghanistan, boilermaker, personal trainer for 3 or 4 years, marathons, Ironman. I think society thinks I'm pretty weird and probably should go out and get married like every other bloke. But what society doesn't understand is this is not my choice, this is God's choice for me. I'm only saying the yes to God's invitation. I know that this is absolutely what I'm called to. And when I first started discerning the priesthood, this was a question I struggled with. How do I know that this is my vocation? And I've asked a myriad of people. the easiest way that I know is through my prayer, and it's through the feeling in here, that gut feeling that I know God's calling me. God hasn't called out vocally to me, and I don't think He does that. It's through the other areas of life that being mature enough to hear the calling, that really I know that this is what I'm called to do.